Hello, here we are, Marianne and myself, Corinna, on our first Facebook Live together. So we'll see how that goes. And we'll learn as we go along, I guess. And today's subject is receiving the contribution from the earth. And are you willing to receive contribution from the earth? And what is it that may not allow us to do that?
Wow, Karina, only that question. What is it that not allows us? Wow. It's an interesting energy that's coming up.
Hmm.
Perhaps it's because I committed myself lately to be really present with all the energies. And one of the energies is allowance, where I'm really playing with allowance. So when you mention this word allowance or not being an allowance, then it is really present, and I'm questioning directly myself, where am I not allowing to receive from the earth?
And what I am aware of is that we have been sold let's call it a lie, because it truly is a lie, that we are separate from the earth. And how many people are actually afraid of the earth without cognitively being aware of it? But the earth is this big, huge thing. And there are all those tornadoes and hurricanes and snowstorms and hailstorms and fill in the blanks. And the earth is dangerous. It's a dangerous place to be. How much have we bought that idea? And is it actually true?
That is it actually true? Why, when you name it all, what's about the fear, the earth, the hurricanes, even the wind, strong wind, can afraid people. And I was one of them. I remember myself when I was younger, and even in my adult age, when there was a storm, there was that, oh, interesting. Sorry, sorry, I start to laugh because now in this moment, speaking and being with that energy, now I can see it wasn't that I was afraid. It was a sort of excitement, excitement of the power it has. But because I lived separated, not only from the earth, but also separated me from me, myself, I couldn't come to that power. So, isn't that interesting that fear is an excitement about power?
And what if we acknowledge the power that is in a storm? Acknowledge the power that is in a hurricane or a tornado or whatsoever. And what if the earth needs to do what she needs to do to keep things in, let's say, balance for her? And there is no, oh, the earth is mad at us, what so often is underlying. as if the earth is taking revenge for something that we have done. If
Yeah.
the earth would be taking revenge, would we still be alive, considering all the stuff that we have been doing to the earth, so to speak?
Yeah. Yeah, true. And that balance also, Karina, like, what is that really? The balance of nature, as when we see it in the health care, they do speak a lot about balance, that we have to balance our
Mm-hmm.
health. And could it be that 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 we are so out of balance because we are separate ourselves so much from the flow that brings everything in balance? The fight we have, aren't we
Mm-hmm.
fighting a lot against ourselves from that separation?
Yeah. And what if, because we're so out of balance, we even don't have a clue what balance actually is?
Yeah.
And what if the earth, like with a hurricane or something, there is some, let's say, stuck energy, and by blowing through, that stuck energy gets released? I mean, that's just one way that I can see looking at it.
Yeah, and as you see that in human life, is, are we allow ourselves to blow through something to become in balance again? As
Yeah.
when there is something, we are start to fight, and we have the need to control, because what is that? What if our balance is in truth being in balance, but because we don't know any longer what is being in balance, we fight against balance to keep the unbalance. I don't know if it makes sense anymore, because it's like, yeah, the thing we speak in Access about is everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, and nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. So where do we think we are working through some balance is the control that keeps us out of balance.
I mean, what you said makes total sense to me.
Yeah, to
And I
you.
know that I'm not necessarily, uh, now let's say, I have a weird way of perceiving things that is quite different from a lot of people. And how much do we come to conclusions and therefore misapply actually words in a way that is not what it could be? What
That
if
is a,
balance is a sense of being in control,
yeah,
but they are not the same?
yeah. And when you be with the energy of the word only, what if it is misapplied balance as control, or control as balance? For me, it started to change when I was really committed to myself, to be brutally honest with myself, where I am living
Mm-hmm.
lies, because there is not one lie. It's not the lie you live. There are so many lies. And what I discovered for myself there is, yeah, that I lived so much, and still it's not that I'm control free. It isn't. Far from. But during the years, going through different modalities, also in different modalities of spirituality, whatever you can call it, I became more and more out of control. Now, today, I can say, oh no, there was so much control that I even was aware of that it is control. So, like now, the situation we are going through with this virus, what is the earth showing us there about the control that we never could understand? And it is not really understanding, because from my point of view, we will never understand energies. We can be with the energies, but understanding, no. So what is your point of view about control? What is your experience in your life about control?
Oh, I'm a total control freak. And despite being that, I also know that ultimately the control is very limited that I have. Sorry. I have control in how I respond to things.
Tell me more about that, Karina. Tell me more about that. You have control about you respond on something.
Yeah, I can. Let's stay with what you mentioned with the whole COVID pandemic. I can believe and buy what the official line is, and as a result, I can go into fear and live my life, at least for the foreseeable future, based on fear, or I can honor what I perceive, that not everything is as it is said to be, and choose not to go into fear. In that sense, how I respond to COVID is under my control. And do I have control over COVID? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And that's the difference, actually, is I do not have control necessarily how events unfold, what is going on in the world, what is going on that the earth is creating. But I am in control on how I respond to it, how I deal with it. And am I willing to also see that there is a collaboration possible, especially between, for instance, the earth and me? And can I be in allowance of the earth and co-create with the earth, looking at how is the earth dealing with things? The earth is in total allowance of us doing some of the stupid stuff that we do. And there is also repercussions to it. Like with all the chemicals that we are using to fertilize plants, to kill the weeds, etc., we are altering the earth, and there are the repercussions that our food is not necessarily what it could be as a result of that. Now, what are we going to do? Are we starting to grow our own food? That is one option. Are we just ignoring everything and saying, there's nothing I can do, this is what is going on? And playing on some level ostrich, putting my head in the sand and not saying, okay, I don't want to be aware of that. That is too much for me. Let's just pretend it's not that bad. That is another option. It's also an option that we apply towards what is going on in regards to global warming. And I know I'm not following the official line by saying, yes, we are contributing, and we are not the only one. What if we allow the Earth, and if we look at Earth history, to change climate? I mean, I was so shocked reading an article that they actually found evidence that Antarctica used to be a rainforest.
I hear you say used to be?
Yeah, way, way, way back, you know?
Wow.
But how different is that? And are we willing to allow for that? That maybe there is time for the Earth to do some changes, because the Earth has been relatively quiet and stable. Maybe there is something required for the Earth. Are we willing to go with that? And at the same time, are we willing to stop what we're doing that is not a contribution to the Earth?
Yeah, and are we willing to stop the control? We controlling everything. Are we willing to stop that? I can't remember who it was I heard saying, and it were several persons, or perhaps it was in another conversation we had. But when I heard it first time mentioning, like, yeah, how we respond is individual, because I can respond in a different way than you respond. But is it, for me, I can say, it pained me when I heard saying, did we ever consider to ask the earth? Because, like pollution, yeah, we know it is not a contribution for the earth. The fertilization of our land, like if we will grow our own fruit, there is our own vegetables, but still the earth itself, the soil, isn't that fertile like it was before. So is there a big difference? Yes, there is a difference, because we can be with everything and treat it in a completely different way, but still coming from the soil that is contaminated. And what if we not conclude that it is a bad thing? Because isn't that also like that we have the tendency to conclude that what not works is bad? What if we stop to see that as a bad thing?
It's what if we ask questions? Yeah.
Yeah. That was for me really opening something also in being an allowance to receive from the earth, whatever that may mean. Whatever that is receiving from the earth. But in our daily life, we are receiving from the earth with every piece of bread, with the fruit, with the vegetables, even with the meat, with the fish. It's to earth, given by earth.
Yeah.
So yeah, we receive daily from earth, but do we receive?
That is a good question. And what that brings up for me is like, Aboriginal people usually gave thanks to the earth, to the plant, to the animal for nourishing, for giving up the life, because even plants, we kill the plants if we harvest, for giving up their life to nourish our bodies. And today, what do? We go into the supermarket and we'll pluck this and this and this from the shelf and we go home and cook it. Is there any awareness of that actually there is more to it, that the meat, the dairy, the vegetables do not come from the shelf? And are we willing to acknowledge that? And one thing a little bit earlier, when you talked, what brought up for me is science says in order to control the climate change, we need to do A, B, C, D, E, whatever it is. Excuse me, are we asking the earth if that is actually a contribution to the earth, if that is actually true, or are we just replacing one issue by creating another issue?
Yeah.
And my favorite quote is a quote by Albert Einstein that says, you cannot solve a problem from the same level of consciousness that created it. And how much is that, oh yeah, we need to do ABC, just operating from the same level of consciousness that created pollution and everything that is contributing to global warming. So we're just exchanging problems. It's really that being willing to ask a question, to be present with the earth. And how much are we already working on, oh, if we kill this earth, then we're going to go off to Mars or Pluto or whatever. Is that really a solution? And I'm sorry, personally, this is offensive to me because this is a wonderful, beautiful planet. Where do we get the idea that we can just destroy it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And who says that we wouldn't destroy any other planet we would be going to given enough time?
Yeah.
We have that
attitude. True story, because you mentioned it. When you go to another place, doing the same thing from the same consciousness, the result will be the same. At the end, the result will be the same. So, yeah. So, Karina, how would it be to wrap up this live? Because we can go on and on and on and on and on. But I would like to invite people, because I'm one of them who I was not growing up with being grateful and really showing my gratitude, being in being gratitude for everything on my plate, what I'm buying in the shops. So how would that be if we could invite people just for perhaps 1 week or 2 days, if a week is too long, to be really present and being grateful, that they can remember what we said about this, like be grateful for what you put in your mouth as it become more vital. Could that be? That's the
Oh,
question.
yeah.
Could that be? Yeah.
And I have not been somebody who grew up with that gratitude and that awareness, even Earth. We were living on Earth, but Earth was there to be used. That was sort of the underlying attitude. And what if we just start asking a question? What if I received from the Earth today? And have I truly received it? Or have I just checked the box? Yes, I had my meal, and those were the ingredients.
Yeah.
Or the sunshine, or the clouds, or the rain. I mean, I remember how much gratitude I had being out on the earth by myself, and it was hard to find a tree where I could sit in the shade. And just the gratitude for the tree being there and for the shade being provided. And whatever works for you as an individual.
Yeah.
But what is it you could be grateful for?
So beautiful, Karina. And so much in it. So much in it. So
It's
what if we are the invitation for everyone, also for us included, to be to be grateful?
I mean, it could be as simple as being in the yard or looking out into the yard and saying, whoa, there are all those flowers. You are so beautiful. Thank you, tree, for being there and how you dance in the wind, with the wind. I mean, there are so many possibilities. How creative can we be? And just take it in, allow it.
So how would it be if we take this subject for our next week Facebook Live and go in a little bit more about this energy of gratitude, everything we mentioned and whatever more? How would that be?
I absolutely like it.
I like it also. So
So great.
if there is someone watching now or later, they can always put it in the comments if they are up to a conversation about gratitude.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
do that.
let's do that.
Let's explore gratitude for the earth. How cool is
Yes,
that?
let's do that. And Karina, I love this conversation. I always love the conversations we have. And oh, there is someone grateful with every breath. Yes, Maria, grateful with every breath.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. And where can we go? And not just tomorrow, but since we sort of plan to do this on a weekly basis, same time, same place, where else can we go?
Where else can we go?
Would you be willing to put into comment if you have any questions or suggestions? I mean, we're totally open to following the energy. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Where there is some juice. Okay. Thank you all very much. And we'll see you next time. Same channel. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.